Hi everyone, I'm Gerald. I'm a licensed engineer here in the Philippines and currently a student at UIUC in their MBA program. In the past, I've read hundreds of personal finance and self-development books, and I've attended several career and investing seminars and workshops. And during this time, I've applied everything I learned and knew what works and what doesn't work when it comes to adulting. In this video, I will tell you the top 3 books that changed my life. In the past, I believe I've already read about more than 100 books, including articles as well, when it comes to investing, personal finance, and career development. And so I noticed that most of the books that I read, most of the contents of these books are similar in terms of the knowledge they give. So what I want to do is I want to give you all of the essential things that I learned from these books, both from the popular books and not so popular books. And I would want to recommend you 3 books that I'm sure you should read before you enter the workplace. So, first book is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, this is a personal leadership kind of book where it's really important to master oneself when it comes to success, right? So, there are 7 habits that are laid in the book. I recommend you to read over them in the internet. Just search for 7 habits of highly effective people. And one concept that struck me is the first habit, which is be proactive. So, a lot of the times, I'm sure also that there are some people, like in a group setting or a project setting, where some people will tend to delay a certain project and finish it the day before the actual deadline, right? And this book recommends you to really not do that type of thing, because if you start planning or if you start finishing a certain project way before the deadline, then that would give really, really tremendous results, as opposed to waiting for one day before the deadline when you would start working on a certain project or finishing a certain task, right? And number 2 is Think and Grow Rich. So, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a bestseller. So, it was written by Napoleon Hill years before, I think World War II, where he was the advisor of really renowned presidents, and also I think Thomas Edison was also mentioned in the book. And one thing or one concept that struck me in the book is that thoughts are really powerful things, and one should focus on specialized knowledge as opposed to learning a lot of general knowledge at the same time. So, to deep dive into it, so thoughts are really powerful things, because the things that you perceive and the things that you think every day would seep upon yourself, where you imagine that that thing already exists, right? So that's when the law of attraction, it's also mentioned in the book, law of attraction exists, because the things that you think about day to day, the things that you wish you could have for a certain time frame, would happen to you in real life, as long as you imagine that it already exists, right? And you work, of course, you work on something to fulfill that goal, right? And one should also develop specialized knowledge as opposed to general knowledge, because if you become an expert on a certain domain or on a certain skill, it's really more important to contribute, because you already know the ins and outs of that certain domain, as opposed to having a general type of knowledge, like knowing all of the things all at once and your knowledge is scattered, where your level of understanding of all these kinds of domain knowledge are not that too deep, or you don't become an expert on all these things, right? And the third thing is a book that really inspired me to develop very good sound financial knowledge, which is Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So I know there are a lot of haters about the author Robert Kiyosaki, as I read over the internet through forums, through videos, through through articles um, that bring Robert Kiyosaki in the limelight. But when you read the book, it tells a lot of very sound knowledge and very important, and not so, no BS knowledge when it comes to handling your finances, handling your investments, and really just making more money. So one thing that struck me on the book is, you don't work to earn money, and that you should strive to work to learn, right? So first is, you don't work to earn money, right? Because if you have the mindset that you don't work to earn more money, but instead you you use your money, your current existing money, to invest and make money work for you instead, it's really important, because you can focus on other things, and you focus on other, maybe you focus more on your job that brings you cash flow, and that cash flow that you obtain can be driven across a whole variety of investments. So you are working for money through a job, and your investments work for you when you use that money from your job, right? So it's a really powerful concept, and I'm surprised that not everybody know about this, and I'm sure some students like myself, when I was in your age, in college, I didn't learn about this for sure when I was in high school or when I was in college. I just learned this when I browse through forums over in the internet, and I read through these concepts by myself. So, work to learn. You have to strive to be able to achieve that level of personal independence or financial independence, where you are just working to learn, not working for your next paycheck, right? So, the three books that I recommend you to also read end to end if you have the time. You may wanna. I'm sure that these books are available here in the Philippines, and I had copies of these books before I sold them when I migrated to soft copies of these books in Kindle. So the first book is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Franklin Covey. Second is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And third is Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So, what do I recommend you to read first is, in your age, if you're in your 20s to 30s, just start with Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That will give you the foundation to be more successful, and to be more mature, and um, to be more controlled in your life, and not depend on circumstances that are not certain. And the second is, I recommend you read Rich Dad and Poor Dad, develop your financial mindset. And third is Think and Grow Rich, to develop your success mindset as a whole. So, if you have any recommendations about what I should talk about next, just comment down below, and subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell icon to notify you as soon as I upload a new video.